Higher fuel prices are hitting households across the Eurozone. In fact, the impact on consumption, however, is not uniform. As the oil price shock from the Iran war has quickly filtered through to households, costs at the pump has become noticeably more expensive across the Eurozone, although to a very different degree. Since the start of the Iran war, the price of 50-litre tank of unleaded petrol has risen by an average of between €5 or nearly $6 in Spain and 13.5 euros in Germany. For diesel, the average increase has been even steeper, ranging from 15.65 euros in Italy to 23 euros in Netherlands. ING's analysis shows that if fuel prices were to remain at current levels for the rest of 2026, annual fuel expenses would rise by roughly 70 euros in Italy and at up to 280 euros in the Netherlands compared to last year. For diesel, the additional burden would range from 190 to 430 euros. While this increase in fuel prices alone could undermine private consumption, it will do so more unevenly than many predict. Across the Eurozone, the share of disposable income spent on fuel differs markedly. Last year, households in Italy spent around 4% of their disposable income on fuel, compared with 6.2% in Portugal. Interestingly, the gap does not reflect cheaper fuel in Italy. On the contrary, with higher taxes, fuel prices in Italy are at the higher end of the scale in Eurozone. The gap instead points to differences in driving habits, with Italians driving relatively few kilometers per year and lower income levels in Portugal limiting the ability to absorb higher costs. That differential is likely to widen further. In the Netherlands, the sharpest rise in crude cost is pushing households to spend a much larger share of their disposable income on fuel than a year ago. Germany, France and Austria, where people tend to drive more, are likely to face greater additional financial burden as well, while Italy and Spain should see a more moderate increase. In Spain, the temporary reduction in the VAT rate on fuel from 21% to 10% dampens the price effect. In Italy, the below-average mileage is providing some relief with higher prices at the pump that are more likely to hit consumption in varying degrees in the Eurozone.